What is up, you guys? I am back. So I don't know where to really start with this video, but I just wanted to tell you guys about my weight loss surgery, what I got done, how much I got paid, and my whole experience. It has been 3 weeks. Yesterday was 3 weeks. I know I want to talk about my eye look. I just got spoiled palettes. So I bought this one, which is the aka Elise, and I haven't tried it yet, but how pretty is this? She also came out with another palette like a year ago, I want to say, or something, and I have yet to try that one, but I went ahead and bought some other stuff. I bought some eyelashes, and then I bought like a mystery thing, and it came with 3 eyeshadow palettes. So this is the one that I'm wearing. I'm not really a pink person. I don't know if you noticed, but this shirt has pink, and I was like, you know what? Let's wear some. I like that this is like this, but yeah, I got this one. I got this one, which I thought was really, really cute. It like reminds me of like the 90s and early 2000s when everyone was wearing funky colors. And then a nude, which I didn't know they even had all these palettes, but yeah. So that's what I have on my eyeshadow. I am wearing some falsies because I feel like every time I film, you just can't see my lashes. So I feel like this just kind of like, and I also have so many lashes that I need to get rid of them. So if you don't like them, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about that. Okay, so let's jump into this journey. So grab a beverage, grab a snack. Let's get started. Now, if you have more questions for me, leave them down in the comments down below. I will answer them. This will just be kind of just like a summary of everything that I have experienced. So I've been wanting to get the surgery for a very long time. How long? I do not know what to answer because I don't know. I just know that I've wanted to get the surgery for a very long time. And I feel like when I started talking to people about it, I think the first person obviously was my mom. And she was like, let's do this, you know. She's always a surgery person, you know. I am a surgery person myself. I believe in surgery. If it makes you feel better, if you have the money, do it, you know. Now it's very popular for women and men to get plastic surgery. It's just something that just is normal now. And I think it's amazing because not everyone is happy with their body, their face, whatever the case may be. And, you know, my weight has been something that has been bothering me for the longest time, my entire life. Okay, so when I lived in Chile, I had a lot of health problems. So my mom really took care of me and she gave me the best food, you know, and I'm gonna say it right here and right now. Other countries have better freaking food than the United States. Okay? I was skinny, I was petite. My mom would tell me that I was so skinny that I was pretty fragile. And it wasn't because we were poor or anything. It's just, I was just built that way at that time, okay? And I do have family members that are really, really skinny, like my mom and my aunt, she's really skinny. I mean, I don't know what she looks like now. We don't keep in touch and I don't really want to reach out to her, but I always saw her, she was skinny, you know? So I was one of the siblings, and I say siblings within my cousin because within my cousins were so many that I was one of the family members that was heavy. So when we moved from Chile to the United States, it's when I started to gain weight. And it's just the truth. I don't know what else to say about that. But so as time went on, I started to gain more weight. I remember I was in middle school and I was wearing a size 10 or 11 in adult, not kids. adult. And then I stayed in size 11, 12 for a very long time. Like I believe all of my middle school, all of high school. I don't really know if I gained weight or lost weight in that time because I just didn't own a scale and I never really wanted to own a scale. And so I never weighed myself and I never asked the doctor. I never asked the doctor like, hey, what's my weight? How tall I am? I don't know. I just don't give a shit. Like I just don't, you know? So my doctor, who has been my doctor since I've been in the United States, has always brought up my weight. He's like, I'm really concerned. You know, you have history of high blood pressure and diabetes and blah, 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 and this and that and blah, 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 right? So last year I went for a checkup. My mom paid for it because I do not have health care and she doesn't either. She can't qualify. And I don't know. I think once you've been an immigrant, an illegal immigrant for such a long time, and then when you get the opportunity and you become a citizen and you can have all these things, it's just like, for me, I'm just one of those people that's like, I just grew up knowing that I could never have healthcare. That's a whole different topic for a whole different fucking day. But I don't have healthcare and I'm not really interested in getting healthcare, especially what's going on with right now. Just because I don't want to get my hopes up and then my shit be like fucking $500 a month. And then I'm gonna be like, excuse me. Hold on, let me let Max out. Here. Pick. Where are you gonna stay? Where are you gonna stay, dude? Huh? Look. Go take that to Grandma. Okay, so I'm trying to get comfortable because I don't know. This feels weird. I haven't done this in I haven't done this in such a long time that it feels weird. Okay, so I also need to find, this is so out of place. I also need to find my ring light and my tripod thing, whatever, just because I feel like I feel more comfortable like sitting on the bed and like me having the camera here, just like how we used to film, just I can't do it this side because there's no space. It would have to be like this angle. But anyways, back to the topic. So I remember sitting down with my mom, and my mom loves to watch TV. She's a TV queen. She loves reality shows. I'm not really into them, but we started watching the 600-Pound Life or whatever that show is called. And I literally saw my life in the future. And it freaked me out. And my entire life, I've done diets, I've done pills, I've never did the injections. I don't believe in injections, but I have done like strict diets where I only ate, like I did one diet where my calories were less than 1,000 a day and working out on top of that. So your girl did some crazy shit, okay? So I would lose the weight. Okay, not quick. It would take months and months and months and months because I have PCOS. I haven't really been truly diagnosed, but my doctor has pretty much told me you have it because when I was about 13, before my parents divorced, I went into the doctor feeling really uncomfortable because my periods were weird and I felt not myself, and I felt like every time I had my period, it just took me through this roller coaster ride of just, I didn't know if it was normal, okay? They were heavy, they were 7 days, sometimes longer. So he pretty much said you have a hormone problem and pretty much take this hormone. Well, we did birth control for a year, like different birth controls, and nothing really worked. Nothing made me feel better, and my periods were still crazy. And some of them I would just, it's a journey, okay? Being a woman is a journey, okay? So then I went from taking birth control at 13 years old, which is wild to me. Then at 14, 15, my doctor said, okay, none of the pills that were recommended to me at that time, this was years ago, okay, none of them was working. They weren't doing anything. And so he said, let's bump it up and we're going to give you hormones, not birth control, like female hormones, because I have more male hormones than female. To the point, okay, I had more male hormones to the point that when I went to see a specialist and all that shit, they thought that maybe I did not have full-on female parts. Yeah. Imagine being 16 and being questioned if you're really truly a woman. And I panicked because I'm like, well, I know I got boobs and I know I got a cookie, you know? But I was like, I mean, could there be a male part somewhere in my body that I just don't know of? And it was, let's just say 16, 17, 18, 19 were really weird. My weight was like this constantly. I was taking hormones that made me feel like crap. And I was now being questioned if I was 100% a woman. And I haven't really talked about that, but I will go into more details in a whole different video because there's so much that went down. But I think once I hit 21 and I found out that I could have a baby, I realized real quick that I was a true woman. I then had an abortion. That's a whole different story for a whole different time. I'd have a lot of story times with you guys. But then once I got off the hormones, I gained more weight. And I think this is when I went from 12 to 13, 14 size. I don't really truly remember, but I remember being 20, 21 and this situation happening. Also, I had gained weight because I was pregnant. But I realized that I didn't put any lipstick on, y'all. What in the world? What in the world? Y'all didn't even tell me. Ooh. Y'all didn't tell me. I'm just going to put a little gloss. Even though this doesn't really match, but I really don't care at this point. But, then I got married. And this was the first time where I felt really uncomfortable. I was in love and I was 20 something years old. I don't remember how old I was when I got married, and I don't care either because it wasn't a good marriage. But I remember getting fitted for my dress that my mom got customized and just feeling very just not myself, very uncomfortable within my skin, within myself. I looked at myself in the mirror and I was just like, I'm so unhappy. How did I get to here? I don't know. I don't remember how much I weighed. Honest, okay? I believe this is when I hit 175 or 185. And after getting married, about a year in, I decided to do this crazy diet, and I did it. And it was the 5 in 1. You had 5 snacks, 1 meal. And let me tell you, eating 5 snacks that are really overprocessed, I lost the weight, but I feel like it really fucked up my stomach. Like it really truly did, because I was eating so much more processed food than regular food. And then when I switched to 3 and 3, 3 snacks, 3 meals, my body just was like, no. And I had to stop. I lost a whole bunch of weight. I went from 185, I believe, which is I think my heaviest at that time, to 135. And I felt like 135 was too much. But I was supposed to build muscle, whatever. And y'all, I just don't have time to hitting the gym all the time. When I really motivate myself and I really truly care, I do go all the time and I make it my priority. But, you know, when you're married, you want to hang out with your husband and you want to do this and you want to do that. And you know, so it's not like I really had the time to put gym into my life at that time. I wanted to, but I just, you know, I was working a lot. It was crazy. I was trying to make my marriage work, and I was trying to feel happy with myself. And then I realized that, you know what, it's not the way. It's just, I'm unhappy because of my marriage, but I'm also fat. Like, it was just so much negativity in my brain. I wasn't happy with my friends. I wasn't happy with my work. I was just so unhappy in general. So then, okay, me and my mom stopped watching that show, but I still remembered like just watching those people eat, you know, and then getting the surgery, and some of them succeeded and were able to lose weight. Some of them couldn't. And it was just like, I was just like always thinking about that surgery. Now, I never brought the surgery up to my ex-husband because he is not really a supportive man for anything, like anything in general. I remember I wanted to change my hair color to all red. I did it, and he wasn't supportive. He was like, why would you do that? Blah, blah, blah. He was a very negative person, okay? So I knew if I couldn't really truly change my hair color, I mean, I could, because I mean, I did, but how do I describe it? If he wasn't supportive of that, like, I knew that if I told him, like, hey, I want to get this done, he would have just laughed in my face. Like, what? Like, so, because that's what he did. He just laughed in my face all the time. So then divorce happened, and I did lose some weight after the divorce, separation divorce. I was trying to kind of, you know, say, you know, if I lose weight, I'm going to feel comfortable again, and I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to want to have more of a sexual life, which we all know that never happened. Y'all know about the stories on here, you know, the sex stories. Just go hunt them, okay? You'll find them. But I remember I brought this up to a friend who at the time was also overweight. But then she's like, oh, I want to get that done. And so I'm one of those people, like, when everyone gets something done, I kind of don't want to get it done. So I was like, you know what? Maybe if I lose weight, I can get a lipo, get a BBL, and then in the future get a tummy tuck and call it a day. I made an appointment. I called a surgeon in Miami. I set it all up. I did the down payment, blah, 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 blah. I got an Airbnb. I was in a car wreck, and I canceled everything. And I lost $200 and something for the down payment. And they kept calling me, and I was just like, you know what? Like, my problem is food. My problem is food. I get stressed, I eat. I get mad, I eat. I get sad, like whatever emotion I'm feeling, I just grab food. So I went back to just me just wanting the surgery. So sorry. So what was stopping me then was I wasn't a US citizen yet. I mean, I was a US citizen at this point, but a whole different story for a whole different time is that when I divorced, I legally changed my name, not back to my maiden name, but dropped my dad's last name and kept my mom's last name. And that's a whole different process because you have to change everything, your license. And if you can't, you know, before you can change everything, you need to change your certificate. So then you can show that to the Social Security that your name has changed and that you're a U.S. citizen, and you can get a license and, yeah, you know, change all the cards. You know, being a woman sucks, man. Men don't have to do this shit. But I told myself, once I get my passport, I am going to get the surgery, weight loss surgery. So I went ahead, got my passport, which when I got my passport is when I truly realized that I am a US citizen. It like hit me differently than, you know, taking the test, passing, doing the oath and all that shit. Like, me getting my passport was me realizing everything me and my mom worked so hard to do for me to be, I mean, right now, I can't say, you know, secured, you know, with what's going on right now, but you know, a little bit more calmer than before, because I know what it's like to not have nothing. It sucks, okay? You're scared, you don't know what to do, and just life is just more difficult when you don't have anything, okay? So, I the whole journey, Ali, my friend, helped me. Like, I was in her house typing away, filling out the application, printing it, and then something was wrong, and I printed like fucking like 100 copies of this application because I kept fucking up. And then I then realized that I had to put that I had been married, when we got married, when we separated, his birthday, and I'm like, crap, I don't remember all this shit. And so I just try to briefly remember stuff, and I then had to redo everything, and I got my passport. It took forever, but I got it. And then when it was in my hand, it was a whole moment for me. Like, I was like, oh my God, like my mom worked so hard for me to be able to be in this moment. You know, my mom has always said, I don't care about me, I care about you. I brought you here so young. You didn't have an opinion, you didn't have a voice. I pulled you away from tradition, from family, from your grandparents, from your cousins, and you know, it didn't turn out the way she wanted to. You know, she wanted a family for her whole life. You know, she wished that my dad wasn't the way he was. And we talk about that all the time. Like, me and my mom are very tight. So, once we moved here, because that was a whole other situation. I didn't want to get the surgery while I was living over there, you know, and with 3 dogs, and you know, it would have just been crazy. I would have lost my goddamn mind if I got the surgery while I was over there. So once we moved in here, I, you know, I reached out to them, and I said, hey, like, I'm interested in getting the weight loss surgery. I don't know which one to get. You know, I don't know which one I qualify for. And I told them all of my information, and they said, the doctor, you know, he's going to call you, he's going to tell you what surgery you should get. So the doctor calls me like 2 or 3 hours later, and he's like, you should get the sleeve. It's just, you know, it's not permanent, but, you know, you're not that heavy. And I think if you really motivated yourself, you know, you're going to really be able to lose whatever you want to lose. And everything. So booking was great. Everything is great. But something told me that this was not going to be what I thought it was going to be, if you know what I mean. So, I just started to just, you know, kind of put that aside, and I was like, I really want to get this done. I need to get this done. So, I plan it. I had 2 weeks to plan this shit and everything. I got my flight. I got my everything. 2 weeks later, I'm down in Mexico in Tijuana. I get picked up. You guys saw that whole journey. Me going into the lobby and realizing where this hospital clinic, I don't know what to call it. It says hospital. I don't really consider it to be a hospital, but you do your own fucking research. It's called Dreams Hospital. They're very popular. I will put pictures up here. I did take pictures, but I don't know if I still have them on my phone. I think I deleted them. But walking in, it's not what I expected. Let me just say it this way. Visually, it looks beautiful. Okay, beautiful. They have a restaurant. They have a whole lobby that no one is ever there, which I'm like, what's the point of having a lobby if no one's working there at the front? But it's just not well organized or well planned out. Okay, it's kind of just more of like whoever is in charge at that time is just gonna take care of you. So the person that was taking care of me, his name is Michelle, which let me tell you, that girl looks like she should be in a horror movie, because she is just so preppy and so bubbly and so always having a smile. It freaks the hell out of me. Oh, my battery went dead. Oh no. Okay, never mind. It didn't die. I don't think it did. Okay, so then you pay. I think I told this all. Okay, you pay and all that shit, and I guess let me talk about. I'm gonna skip through all that part because I did vlog and I did talk about it in the moment, but night. It's like the lighting doesn't want me to talk about this. It's wild. Let me see if I could change the lighting. Okay, so let me get a charger for this. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna break this down into 2 videos because I feel like the 21 minute is like getting ridiculously long. Okay, so this is the second part. So once you check in, I just felt like really quickly I realized that maybe I didn't do a lot of research that I should have done, but I did do research. Okay, I looked at different places. I checked out another hotel. I checked another like surgery place in Tijuana that an influencer went to, but then I didn't want to go to the one she went to because she like didn't lose weight, and it just seemed like she kind of also went through the same thing that I went through, which no one was really there for helping her or anything. So I'm gonna talk about now the drama that occurred. Okay, I did not see, I did not witness, I just, this is what people told me. Okay, so I did make some friends, I won't share their names, that I made about 3 friends who all were there when this, well, 2 of them were there when it happened. One actually rode with this person from San Diego to Tijuana. So I have one version of this one particular person, which we're gonna call guy with the black shirt, okay, because he was wearing a black shirt, and me and my friend decided to give him that name because we didn't know his name, and so we had a few things to say about him. So I did encounter him. I remember when I checked in, I believe he had like, he was like going to the actual like room and all that stuff. So I only got to see him briefly at the beginning, but then towards the end I did see him a little more. Okay, so day of the surgery, okay, I get placed into the recovery and prep for the surgery. I thankfully, like I said, I got pushed all the way to the back, so I got to see when people were coming in, when people were leaving, and all that stuff, right? So I like remembered, I was like, okay, so when I wake up, I'm gonna be in this particular area. Okay, so as I'm waiting, you know, the nurses come over and they're just, you know, going through my file. They asked me what surgery I'm getting, and I said bypass. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure they looked at my chart and they were like, this is not what she's getting done. But then they were like, oh, do you have PCOS? And I was like, well, I've never been diagnosed, but my doctor says that I do. So I don't know what to say when I haven't really been diagnosed, but my doctor has told me by the stuff that I have technically PCOS. So I give them that answer, and they just looked like they were just like, oh my God, this bitch is being difficult. I wasn't being difficult. I was just being honest, okay? So they just asked me like, are you okay? Are you ready for surgery? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever. And so they kind of go over like, you're going to walk in and, you know, you're going to lay and this is what's going to happen. Kind of just like quick summary, not like full deep into what's going to happen. Just kind of just a summary of what's going to fucking happen. which I was just like, I don't know if maybe they had already put drugs in me. I don't know. Like, I can't really tell you. But I was just already kind of feeling a little kind of like loopy, if you know what I mean. Or maybe just a situation. But I wasn't like cold or shivering or anything or nervous or anything. I was kind of calm. I was just like, you know, like this is happening. I paid for this, you know. Then comes in guy with the black shirt. And he gets on the bed and I see all his junk, y'all. I didn't mean to, but I was just staring at the wall. I didn't know that they were going to put him in that bed right in front of me. But I see all his junk and I'm like, bro, really, like, cover yourself. Like, I don't want to see all that junk. Like, you're not cute or anything. So, so I was scarred, you know, from before the surgery. So then, I see people like recovering, waking up, and everyone's kind of quiet, like, oh, hi, you know, they're talking or whatever. And then they say, okay, it's your turn. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they roll me in and they make me walk to the room and all that stuff and etc. Surgery goes well, whatever. I wake up. I'm at the same spot where they told me that I was going to be in, you know, that I saw. And the guy next to me, I guess, had just also gotten out of surgery or whatever. And